Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. I like this view. Shows off my legs. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch on this bright and sunny Tuesday morning, August the 12th. Could it be already? Here in Melbourne, Florida. My friends, good to see you. Good to see you. And I got my coffee right here. Do you have yours? If so, drink it. Drink it if you got it. My first sip this morning of coffee not containing that stinky leucine, which, believe it or not, I've kind of adapted to. So it really doesn't even ruin the coffee anymore. Incredible. But this is pure, unadulterated, caffeinated, Amazon's best Arabica medium roast coffee. So far, so good. I've still got a lot. I got a 2-pound bag of it, and I'm still not real heavy into it, so it's going to be for a while yet. That's what I'll start taking suggestions from all of you as to the best coffees that you enjoy, as I try to settle on something that may be a little more flavorful and tasty than the Amazon stuff, but still adheres to the grown high in the mountains of Colombia, Arabica bean, medium roast coffee, either whole bean or ground. If grinding your own beans, and I did that for a long time, actually makes it that much better, it's worth it. But just keeping the pre-ground coffee and getting it fresh and keeping it sealed up and maybe vacuum sealed until you use most of it. I may or may not be convinced that there's that much difference. And it isn't just a purist thing for a lot of people who think that they have to have the $3,000 espresso machine with all the gadgets and the stainless steel that looks like a nuclear power plant, miniaturized. So anyway, here we are this morning. Here we are. I have done my regimen this morning. This is my day off from working out. So watch Kiltz. Always good to see Jonathan, Carnivore Muscle, on there, and all of you chatting up a storm. So it was great to see you there this morning. I had a little extra time this morning, did some computer work for one of my clients, other than YouTube. Actually went outside and tried out a new little cheap wireless microphone that I got to use with my cell phone, and recorded a video for today using my cell phone and this new cheap wireless mic to see just exactly whether it really is worthwhile today buying expensive cameras, expensive microphones, or any of that stuff. So I got a video coming out this afternoon. The subject of it is, can I really put my creatine in my coffee, or will the coffee and the caffeine ruin it, like everybody keeps telling me in the comments of this video? And it's my take on everything again. Interesting, I think. And I think I made a very good point in it. But let's all see how the video quality and the audio quality come out using just my cell phone and a really teeny tiny little inexpensive wireless mic with what I found out may be the best noise reduction algorithms on the planet that I've heard so far. So interesting. And then maybe tomorrow I'll show you the gear, because how simple would it be if all you needed to really make professional looking YouTube videos or to film them is the cell phone that you carry in your pocket and a microphone. The whole works is no bigger than a cigar if you think about it. The mic, and it's versatile as hell. Interesting, side fun. Then I came in here, I shaved my beard for all of you, because when I looked at the video I had recorded, I said, "Oh, Mitch, you look a little straggly this morning." Trimmed my mustache, beautified myself, and here I am. And here you are. Let's see who was first. Who else was first last night, right after Kiltz's Zoom call? I went ahead and created the video, and Peter must have been right there. Look who's first. Peter, proud American, always an early bird. And Wyndham Crew, oh wow, he's still alive. You referring to me? Yeah. Wonders never cease. That's what I say to myself every morning when I open my eyes. Wow, made it. Still alive. Michael Pregler. Hiya, Michael, last night. And who else was here last night? Rick. Oh my God, I got to get ready for this. I got to do two things on the mixer, and then I can give Rick his salutation in the morning. Smoothie's here last night, and Tuka, of course, was here. How you doing, Tuka? Good to see you. Carol, Grandma Nancy, how you doing? Jam is here last night. No? Yes. Right around midnight. Lady June. Right around midnight. She's in the UK. Terry Sue is here. What time was that? At 12:45 a.m. Wow. Mike Seeley from Tampa Bay chimed in at 4:42 a.m. Yeah, I got at 5 this morning. So I've been up for a while. Brian Dish, about 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're starting to wake up, folks. Wayne Herman is here from, I guess, North Carolina. Carnivore Police 708. How are you? Mike Silly Sr. And the Quack Master himself, Rick, is up and awake. Morning, Rick. How you doing? Sandy Blythe, good morning. Just watched 10 Things You Don't Know About Dr. Kiltz. What an amazing... Kiltz is a phenomenon. I got to tell you there. I've known a few guys in my lifetime. In fact, one of my best friends, the dentist friend of mine named Stan, that I used to... known for 30 years, used to be... He and I were each other's confidant. He was a talented dentist. Rebuilt old Porsches. He was a craftsman par excellence, and he died at 75 years old, basically from a lung disorder, from complications of breathing all the chemical fumes all his life, both in his hobbies and in his avocation. He didn't like to wear those masks. Well, he paid the price for it. Pulmonary fibrosis finally got him at 75. That was 13 years ago. I lost him. But he was the guy that reminded me of Kiltz. He wasn't an author. He was an artist. The guy could draw charcoals and paint. Renaissance man. And Kiltz reminds me so much of him that maybe that's why I'm drawn to him, and I have no doubt in believing that he likes me too. And it's not like we hang out together or talk each day. We don't. We mostly go our separate ways, but somehow he's still there and he's still out there, and I can still feel the connection, and it's a great thing. And I consider him and Nelson to be relatively new, and great new friends of mine. They make life worth living. An homage to you, my friend Kiltz. And who we have here, this is Karen Travis. Good morning, Travis. Blessings on a new day. You too, my friend. And Tuka came in with a chain of posts. I came in, Tuka. Question of the day, how are you, boss? If I was any better today, being illegal. I've been walking all over the place. I'm consciously working on walking faster and faster, trying to get a normal gait back. I'm still conscious of falling, still wear the I fallen, but I can't get up push button. But I'm not crazy. I'm not taking chances. But I'm feeling more and more confident. It's still such a physical effort and exertion to move those limbs that were paralyzed, and I'm getting them back. And but it's coming back slowly, and I don't use the walker at all during the day in the house. I did use it when I went to Staples yesterday, but it's coming, and I think maybe all your well wishes and prayers are helping as well, and I thank you for that. But let's get past the Ricks and the Turamirs and Turamir and Tuka, and Thomas chimed in. Thomas, just want to make sure. Yes, Thomas, nobody banned you today. We love you. Tuka and Rick and Tuka and okay, Chris Swain. Good evening, everybody. Yes, it is the future down in Australia. Tuka again. Aaron is here. Hi, Aaron. Good to see you. And Bill Cook chimed in. 8:23 a.m. Yes, sir. Going for a 2-mile walk with 52-pound backpack. Wow. We're rooting for you, Bill. We're rooting for you, man. Work out for me, too, while you're at it, would you? I could use it now. Bill Cook also said, as a pre-qualifier, if I make it. You'll make it, Bill, no doubt at all. We at 8:30 yet? No. Speaking of no slow. Or, Gary, I heard somebody pronounce it Noslow. Who are you? Are you no slow or Noslow? Tell us how to pronounce your name. Another superhero. Yeah, okay. It looks like Wendy fighting the good fight. Keto Simples here. Good morning to you. And Donna Ray, main runner. Good morning to virtually everybody. I thought Aunt B usually does that. And not to risk missing anybody, she includes everyone else. Thank you for that. And who is this? Rick again. Good morning. All he says. Mark C. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Good to see you. Tina's here. Tina Schweikerath. We're getting down to 8:30 here. Not quite yet. Roxanne. Hi, Roxanne, friend. Hello, all. It's a very friendly name. I like that. Lori's here with us. How you doing, Lori? And I don't know how he does it, folks. I just don't know. Brian Dish again. He must have it down to a science. Congratulations. And followed by Michael Bregler, Chris Swain, Keto Simple, Lady June. Coming in at 8:30. Quack time, says Rick. And Florida. Kathy's with us here. Who's this? This is Marla Kelly. Good morning, Marla. Bill Cook's still here. You're not back from your walk already, are you, Bill? I was quick. Snoopy's here. Roxanne, friend here. 8:30. We'll get through this in a second. Karen, Travis, Lori Weitzel. Sammy Shuford, good morning to you. And Peter's back with us at 8:30. How you doing, Peter? Karen Travis says, sexy lace. Yes, I try. You know what they say? If you got it, flaunt it. I truly believe that. Maybe some people perhaps would believe maybe I shouldn't flaunt it, but what the hell? You only live once. Who this? This is B. Matt. Good morning, Brian and Carnivore. Keto Carnivore Edens. Good morning from Florida. Vacationing. Enjoy Florida. I don't think Florida is as hot as most other places around the country, so enjoy it. Max D is here, and we have exhausted the 8:30 hour minute. And good morning to everybody else. And there's CB chimed in. Good to see you, CB. Gary tries to start my second cup. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, put questions in the chat if you want to bring me into your conversation. I enjoyed being on the Kiltz tribe Zoom call last night. Like I said, I tried it from my patio. And you could pretty well bet that if I'm going to be out there on my patio, there's going to be a cigar somewhere within reach. And I said to myself, Mitch, I said, what? I said, Mitch, what will they think of you if you smoke a cigar right there in front of the entire Kiltz Mighty Tribe community? Now, you've got your community, the Mitchfits, pretty well filtered themselves out. Anybody that doesn't approve of my cigar can go somewhere else to spend time. And that, even if it is bad for me, those are still my rules. But I said, I have no right to upset so many people who are so judgmental as to shut off Kiltz's live stream because some old fart named Mitch fired up a cigar in some little teeny window somewhere in this sea of other little teeny windows. I said, well, maybe they won't notice. So I decided, I said, well, maybe I shouldn't smoke the cigar. Why? I start something. And then I went, Mitch, that's not like you. And I said, you're right. It's not like me. Who cares? So it was funny. It was really funny. There's a reason I'm telling you this story. This guest they had last night named Lauren. And I'll take this moment to plug the fact that I think it's September 5th, first Monday in September. Yours truly is going to be the featured guest on the Kiltz Mighty Tribe Zoom call. I'm going to be important. So Alia booked that like 3 months ago. There's so far, got so many guests booked so far out, which I think is great. But the 5th of September, I'm going to be there. So at any rate, Alia kind of popped up a couple minutes early, which is unlike her. And on my cell phone, I couldn't see all the windows. This is not a real estate, but I did see Alia pop up. And there's always one window in the Zoom call that flashes back and forth to the current speaker or to the viewer who left his microphone on. And every time he makes a noise, it zeroes in on him and interrupts everybody else in the live stream. So I'll say it again. If you go into those Zoom calls, people, and you're not talking, mute your mic. Mute your mic. And some people just don't do it. It's discourteous and disrupts everything. It makes the viewing pleasure of the thing that much less for everybody else who is sitting there with their mic muted, including me. Now, that's not saying they're bad people. They're just, like so many drivers on the road, have never really learned the rules of etiquette. Do you blame them or do you blame their teacher? So Alia come on, and she saw me in a little window. I had my mic muted. I wasn't aware anybody was looking at me, but she could see me. She go, "Hey, hi, Mitch." So I unmuted my mic and, "Hi, Alia. You started early today," I said. She said, "Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't logged in with the name Dr. Nelson showing up." I said, "Yeah, that was funny last week." And I said, "Okay," talked to her a little bit, and the Zoom call started, and up came the guest, Lauren. Now, I don't know much about Lauren. Don't know much about Lauren at all, but Lauren's on there. She's being featured on the screen, because they brought her into the call. So I see Alia, I see Lauren in a window, and eventually they'll bring in Nelson and Kiltz. And I said, "Okay, nobody's looking at me. I'm going to fire up the cigar." I grabbed my cigar. I didn't have the cigar lighting music going, and I'm puffing away. And Lauren says, I had no idea she was watching me. She says, "That's awesome, Mitch." And I went, "You know me." So I felt very famous at that point, but that was a shock to me. It was funny. I said, "Well, I guess they are watching. I guess they can see me in that little window." But I didn't do too much of it, but a few times during that thing, I did light up the cigar, and I enjoyed the Zoom call just that much more because it was nice outside, fresh air, which I was trying to spoil with the cigar, but didn't quite. And it was very entertaining. She was I use the word young lady. She was, I think, 32 years old. She was a very good guest. And I enjoy those things. So Monday night, there I was. Let's look down the little cigar story for the morning. We have Danica here. How you doing, Donita, good morning. All Carnivore coffee clutches. Wisconsin, how you doing? I was talking about the the creatine, and CB chimes in and says, "Snort it." Well, I'll tell you, it was suggested by DS111 yesterday, asked if we could smoke it. Evidently, all you guys have a particular method of substance abuse on your mind that you've settled on as your favorite. It'd be an interest. I think if you snorted creatine, you'd be sneezing your ass off for the rest of the entire day, CB. Bacon Baby, how you doing, Bacon Baby? Don't know if I said hi to you this morning, but Terry Sue says it does look snortable. Yeah. Notice anthrax powder. In fact, any white powder, talcum powder, you could, not that I'm suggesting that here. DJ Scrog, good morning to you. Said morning all. And let me get rid of that banner. And banner talking about my buy me a coffee stuff. Let's see where I shut that off. I shut that off right here. Okay. And speaking of that, because I was asked yesterday, I'll put it up just in case somebody should like to. A couple people yesterday bought me a coffee. Thank you so much for that. Always appreciate it. Doesn't take very many. And you don't have to, certainly I would feel funny if somebody overdid it for me. But now and then, in that way, it adds up. If you have a good sized audience. So let's see. Let me paste that in here. Oh, that's not the place that I want to put it in. I want to put it in here. There we go. That's a link you can click on. And we'll replace the pin message with that. So thank you. Thank you in advance. And if I hear my phone go off, I'll try to acknowledge it and say thank you here. Otherwise, I always reply to those things and I so appreciate them. Terry Sue says, I've never snorted anything. Seems super intrusive. Some orifices do not think split in them. Well, there's a lot of debate about that, but I guess I'll go along with you. It's kind of one of the things that messages I try to portray to the urologist when I go in and visit them as I hear the rubber glove go snap. You know, the most dreaded sound a man will ever hear. And knowing what women go through in a gynecologist's office, I don't know how you do it. I just don't know how you do it. Well, 8:43. I got past the first 10 minutes of the chat. Jeff Johnson's here. Hi, Jeff. How you doing? Hi, all Mitch. It's perfect weather here in Maine. Great. Well, we're in the middle of the summer now. Then we've got the Indian summer, the dog days of summer. You get September and sometime into October it stays hot. So if you get a cool day up there, enjoy it. I don't think the summer's over yet. Good morning, Keith. How are you? We didn't say hi to you yet. And who is this? Zaitia. Good show. Thank you, Zaitia, and welcome. Don't recognize that name. I'll look for it again. My phone just went ding. It could, went ding twice. That's, when it goes ding twice, the odds of it being a coffee are high. Because when someone buys me a coffee, I get a notification from the Buy Me a Coffee app. And I also get an email. Now, I got my hopes up a couple of days ago when I heard that double ding ding. And it was basically 2 pieces of phishing emails back to back. So let's see if I'm disappointed today. No, I'm not disappointed. Not disappointed. Let me see. Tina, you sweetheart. Tina Schweigerath. Bought me a coffee. Just a little something for you. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you so much, Tina. I appreciate that. I'm not disappointed this morning. Faith in humanity restored. Thanks, sweetie. I really appreciate that. Oh, I don't embarrass you by thanking you. And this is a question that I heard somebody ask. I heard somebody ask Jonathan, I think, the same question this morning. What was the most unusual meat you've ever eaten? And he said, lamb's brains. And I said, no effing way. I'm sorry. And it probably wouldn't even be the taste or anything else, just the idea of what it is. It's for the same reason I could never think of eating something called head cheese. Sorry. No head cheese for this guy. I don't want to know about it. Certainly don't want to smell it or look at it. You name something head cheese, you may as well name it toe jam. As far as I'm concerned, I am not going to eat it or consider eating it. Same thing with brains. Now, calves' brains, when I grew up, was a relatively everyday and normal dish for older Jewish people. They always ate it. That was a very, very common dish. Not for me. Sorry, guys. I got to leave the room. And we have a super chat from Tristan. Thank you, Tristan. And she says, in a Reddit post, a recent Reddit post, asked a healthy food that was absolutely terrible for you. I said grains and was downvoted into oblivion. Good answer, Tristan. Way to stand up. Way to stand up for yourself. And of course not, because everybody knows that whole grains are so healthy for you. I mean, everybody knows. That's a problem. The reality in our society today, a statement more true than anything you've ever heard, is everybody's wrong. That will ring more true than any other statement when they say everybody knows. And that falls into a theory of contrarianism. There are a lot of very rich people who make their money in the stock markets as what they call a contrarian trader, who live by the philosophy that as soon as, quote, everybody knows something, you can rest assured that they're all wrong. And that's when the markets turn. When everybody knows interest rates have reached their peak and are going to turn around, that's when you count on them to go up more. This is why so many of us, when we think we're doing the obvious in anything, end up being surprised that we weren't as smart as we thought we were, because we were going along with what everybody believed. And that's because everything is put out is wrong, because it's propaganda. And the more people buy into the propaganda, the more the people who put out the propaganda can be sure that that's the way the herd and the mob and the herd of sheep are going to behave. And if they're smart, they'll capitalize on that knowledge, while we just change direction based on what they tell us we should do. So yeah, I still haven't answered the question about the most exotic meat I've tried. In case you haven't gotten the message now from my answer about the brains and things like that, about the most exotic meat I've ever eaten in my life is beef. I don't even eat lamb. I don't even like lamb. I've never tried goat. Pig, I eat pig, but it's not exotic. So no, I'm not an adventurous. Never have been an adventurous eater that goes up to something that looks obnoxious and goes, "Ooh, what's that? I got to taste it." No, not me. Not me. Give me something I know and love. So I'm the wrong guy to ask that question to. Mine's a blank. I like that name. Mine's a blank. Thank you for asking the question, though. Let's see here. I don't see any questions. That was it so far for Grandma. Got up and cooked already. Good for you. Yesterday, we went almost 2 hours. I got going on all kinds of rabbit hole rants, but I'm going to try to keep that down a little bit today and not make it go 2 hours. We'll see what happens. Laurie, agree with me about muting your mic when you're on a Zoom call of 80 people, especially if you're cooking. These people, I didn't feel too bad about smoking my cigar, because a lot of people are always doing something. We always have the obligatory, I'm going to show everybody that I'm exercising and you're not. Those people. I agree, everybody who's changed their life and starting to do things that they didn't like to do wants to show it off, and I don't know, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But mute your mic. I know that people like to do carnivore-y things, carnivore-ish things like cooking, walking, hiking, being out in the world with the sounds of nature and all that stuff. Holding your cell phone up because you can, because we have the technology. That's great. That's great. Love to see it. Mute your mic, for God's sakes. It's noisy out there. That's all I'm saying. Do your thing. And that's the logic that I used when I said, I'm going to smoke my cigar. And I'm not going to have my mic unmuted. They're not going to have to hear me click the lighter. I'm not going to have my music later playing in the background on Kiltz's Zoom call. Especially when they're cooking, clang, bang, this, that, and every time it happens, the thing just switches over to them, and you don't even see who they are. All you see is a pot on the stove. Okay. Mute your mic. Mute your mic. I'm going to be the Zoom police. I guess. It's Tuesday. I'm getting a little bit punchy here on Tuesday morning. And we got some coffees. Oh, my God. Look what happened. Barry Simon, 10 coffees. Barry, you're a sweetheart. Thank you so much, man. I love you, man. You have to ask to keep entertaining and, more importantly, educating the masses, bitch. Thank you, Barry. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And 1 coffee, 10 coffees. I appreciate everybody. Don't feel like you have to buy me 10 coffees. You don't. Just the fact that you think I deserve something means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And also, Gary, not Noslow. Inquiring minds want to know, Gary, is it Noslow or Noslow? Oh, Europeans. Here's a cup of coffee from the Eastern European city of, I still don't know how to pronounce it. Kidding. It's pronounced, wait a minute, coming, I have to go into the app. It's pronounced No Slow. Kiltz had Sandy in stitches when he called me out like that. Too funny. No Slow. That's what I thought. Gary, no matter what you rename yourself, I don't care if you rename yourself Booby Biscuits, you'll always be No Slow to us. And thanks so much for that coffee. And thank you, Tina. Thank you, Barry. You guys made my day. Honestly, you made my day. And I don't mean the money. I mean, you made my day by showing that. It just means that somebody actually thinks I'm doing some good on there every morning. Juggling, trying to keep it going and interesting. And Terry says, I started watching a YouTube documentary called Fat Fiction. It was made in 2021. I fell asleep during it, but there were many docs like, yeah, who made that one? Was that Vinnie Tortorich? Was it Nina Teicholz? It's one of those. Gary Todd, one of those made that. Fat Fiction. I've seen that a few times. Some of that stuff is going to get boring. Overview, documentary, 2020. It's got Mark Hyman in it, Dave Asprey, Ansel Keys. Obviously, Ansel Keys was. How could Ansel Keys be in the cast? Give me a break. Ansel Keys died a long time ago. I love how accurate the internet is. Let me show you this. This is cool. Here we go. It says Bill Maher, Mark Hyman, Ansel Keys, Gary Tubbs, Nina Teicholz. But who made the movie? Indie Rights Movies, Fat Fiction. Why was fat demonized? What is a fat-based diet? What are 5? Can I eat eggs on a low-carb diet? Look at the questions people ask. Can somebody please tell me who produced this movie? Mark Hyman, Dr. Mark Hyman produced this one. They're all great. They're all the same. There's no shortage of documentaries that show a lot of fat people walking around from the carnivore community that tell you that there's Ansel Keys mentioned, and there's Nina. So I remember seeing Nina in there, but it's Mark Hyman, who does a lot of good stuff too. There's Ansel. There's our buddy Ansel Keys. And his 7-country study and the low-fat movement. And that's it. That's it. It says everything that we say on here every day and everywhere else. Heart healthy. We all talked about that. And people who don't get to see this movie are everybody that is convinced that fat is going to kill you. So that's a great movie. It's a great movie. I'm like you, Tina. I'm like you. I find them, they put me to sleep now. I can watch an entire movie like that after as many as I've seen and not hear a single thing, not a word, not a concept or idea or discovery that I haven't heard 10 times before. This is simply true. I can't listen to a testimonial from somebody, even though they're valuable and we love them all. I can't listen to a testimonial of another person tell me how sick they were before carnivore and how it cured this and that and the other thing. Not that it isn't wonderful and it isn't great to hear these stories, but they are not for me to hear. And one of the reasons I don't go on interviews, you don't see me popping up on, only rarely. I let Dave Mack, because I respect Dave Mack, so I agreed to have him interview me. Curry, I'll let him interview. Kiltz, I'll go on, answer their questions. Bart K, I did once. Whether I did any good, I don't know. That was a long time ago when I was first starting as a carnivore YouTuber. But how many times do people have to hear your story? And maybe it'll do some good if they have an audience that's so much larger than mine that might be interested, but they've heard so many stories like mine before, because these are the people that are watching. I guarantee the vegans and the vegetarians and the anti-meat crowd and the climate change crowd, the animal rights activists are not hanging on every word of Dave Mack's interviews, Bart K's interviews, anybody else. People go places where what's being said are things that they want to hear, unless they're troublemakers, protesters. Then they just want to always be upset by something. I don't want to talk to those people either. Tuka doesn't follow Kiltz. I follow Mitch and Anthony. Kiltz, what do you follow or not? Kiltz has got some great. He's like me. He hypothesizes all the time, and he says, "I'm not telling you this is the way it is, for sure. I'm telling you that this is a possibility, and that's where my mind goes. And mine does too. That's why I always say what I have is an opinion, but as a final authority on anything, I don't think any of us are. We're all learning, and we all basically know very little in the sea of what there is that you could know, that you couldn't know." I'm going through the chat here, 8:52. Well, I'm not even a half an hour behind. How about that? Loretta Nadow, good morning to you. Good morning. Thomas, that's very nice of you, sir. We know you and love you. Thank you. Thank you. You know it. I love all you guys, too. You're family to me. Terry, see, OldGuyCarnivore. Most of us are at an age when we really don't care what anybody thinks. My neighbor freaked out yesterday that I was going to the pool with my melanoma diagnosis. There you go. Everybody knows you got to cover yourself with poisonous chemicals like sunscreen. Because everybody knows that did the cavemen know that they shouldn't be out in the sun? Come on. Jeez, people don't think. They think that we're all different today than they were even a few hundred years ago. Our whole physiology has changed. And in a large respect, they got a point. But why it changed is the key. And why it changed was the complete turnaround and change in the diet, demonizing animal food, meat and things, and glorifying the plants. Well, the more plants you eat, the more phytochemical, plant sterols you're going to get. The more plant sterols you get, the more of your skin cells get rebuilt using plant material as a membrane instead of animal material. Well, plant material, by definition, plants get their energy from photosynthesis. So you're replacing the sterols, the plant sterols, you're replacing the cholesterol that's used to build your cell membranes and your skin cell membranes with plant sterols who are chemically a little different and absorb things that the cholesterol will not. In that respect, tell your doctor when he wants to lower your cholesterol with a statin, he said, well, if you do that, can I bill you for the cost of my sunscreen? And see what response you get. You go, what's that got to do with it? You say, well, I don't need sunscreen now. What do you mean you don't need I don't need sunscreen. I don't burn. And they won't understand it. Well, how can you say that? I don't eat plants. I don't eat plant sterols. My skin cell membranes are not built out of basically plant material. They're built with cholesterol. Cholesterol is not, in my skin, does not do the same thing that plant material. You people, my friend, esteemed doctor, have turned me into what by now must be about 20% plant. I'm suffering terribly because I shouldn't be eating these plants and getting my building blocks from them. I should be getting my building blocks from the cholesterol that I make and from the animals that I eat. But no. You want me on statins. You want to lower that cholesterol. You want to turn me into more of a plant. You're making me into plant man. You're creating monsters, Doc, and guaranteeing yourself a job for the rest of your life. You moron, you're fired. And why? That's about when I walk out. That is my attitude about doctors, and you all know that. Except doctors that have seen the light, have an open mind. And even if the medical community now won't let them deviate from the standard of care that's killing us all, and the prescription pad is the first, last, and every option to your problem, most doctors are in a pickle today. And not going to end well for any of us. I think you say that a better chance is something happens to you, just wait it out. Don't let them get their hands on you. Now, that's not advice from me. Don't tell them Mitch said not to go to the hospital when a truck fell on my head. That's not what I'm saying. You break anything, you need a mechanic to screw it back together. That's when doctors come in helpful. Stay out of my cellular metabolism. That's what I tell them. Stay away from my physiology. Stop telling me I need a statin. I need to lower my cholesterol. I need this. I need that. I need to get away from you before you kill me. And every time they get a shot at me, I swear, even without realizing it, some of the things they're telling me to do are not going to be in my best interest. That's for sure. for sure. Sorry. I've never snorted anything. You know, I have. I have snorted. I've snorted Afrin nasal spray. So, and it unblocked my terribly blocked up nose. So it worked. But that's about but I have snorted. I mean, you do take that. Some people have to, who are asthmatics, have to kind of, I don't know, I guess use an inhaler. That's not really snorting. But I see the word creatine popped up. Anyone heard an answer on a question about creatine on Kiltz this morning? I missed that few minutes, but I thought he said it was only for athletes. Problem is, well, that's what he did say. But it was a very qualified answer. Basically, what he said is that there's no doubt that creatine adds just a little extra backup standby energy to the cell in the form of creatine phosphate. And just like the phosphate groups that are in ATP, not to get too deep in the woods of chemistry, but ATP, we've all heard of that. Adenosine triphosphate, got 3 phosphate groups attached to it. Whereas creatine phosphate has but 1. You have a backup supply of this ATP in each cell. And you also, through the creatine that you eat and manufacture in your own body, you manufacture a gram a day, but you make more than that. It's possible if you eat enough food containing creatine, that would be a form of supplementation. But what the benefits from the creatine that have been accepted since it was a darling of the bodybuilder community for the past 20, 30 years, is it gives you a 10-15% reserve. So if normally you hit the wall about 10 reps or something, you would probably get, with proper creatine in your cells, with 100% of the capacity of your cells to hold creatine, you'd probably get another rep and a half maybe. And in that respect, if you're not bodybuilding and you don't need the reserve energy, why would you want to try to keep it at 100% of the possible amount of creatine phosphate that you could hold in each one of your cells? Why would you do that? If you really didn't need the reserve energy, well, they're discovering many more. And this is something that he did not talk about this morning. There's an awful lot of talk today about taking 10, maybe 15 grams a day because there are other benefits. Anywhere that cells exist in the body, not all cells are muscle cells. Not all cells are involved in movement. Your brain, and there's been books written called Brain Energy, the energy. So even if you're not an athlete, even if you're not working out, if you make sure you keep your cells saturated with this creatine phosphate, you get all kinds of benefits because all your cells are working better. And that is the reason I'm taking the creatine. Now, as far as muscle building and rebuilding and sarcopenia goes, that's why I'm taking the leucine. I'm taking the leucine because leucine stimulates muscle protein synthesis through the mTOR pathways. Okay? Entirely different thing than creatine. Entirely different philosophy. That is primarily for me to rebuild actual skeletal muscle. So I have different reasons for those two things. Am I right or wrong? You know, it's all about whose story you believe. I keep talking about that. Everybody's got a story. A story. Whether it's the story, that it may be yet to be proven. But depends on who's got the best and convincing sounding story with some evidence to back up their opinion. It's all opinions and stories at this point. Everything we believe is an opinion, is somebody's opinion or a story based on certain evidence that is always contradicted by other evidence, whether true or not. I never believe the words studies show. I don't believe that. They say. I don't believe that. It's all bull. All bull. Cynic, they call it. Cynical. And since we're in a world where 99% of the people are just trying to sell you something, you have a reason to be cynical. Every time your phone rings or your cell phone goes ding with a notification, you have a reason, a valid one, to become cynical. Plant Man. Ah, Barry, that's great. That's great. I like that. Create some shorts, Mitch. I did a thing with Plant Man. I did a video. I had a character. I made it with AI. I don't ever use AI, but I asked AI, it says, create me a character that's half human, half plant. And I'll have to dig it up. It's way back in there somewhere, but I'll have to dig it up. And it was a story. It was a video just about what I talked about, how we're turning ourselves into plants. And I invented Plant Man. And it's true. Why do you think these people sunburn so badly and we don't? Imagine what these plant sterols are doing because they're so close in molecular composition to cholesterol. And if you don't, sterol is a fat. So cholesterol and phytosterols are the plant version of cholesterol and the animal version, just like the sex hormones. When you hear about phytoestrogens, that is a plant's version of estrogen. These things are so similar because evolutionarily they all come from the same place when you get back a half a billion years or more. But the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom went their separate ways 500 some million years ago. A lot of adaptation and mutation has happened since then. Not only in just how your digestive tract it is, but at a molecular level, at the base of the way these two kingdoms operate. It's so logical and understandable if you think about it in terms of the reality of what we know now. Not just a story, but what we pretty well know because of the advances in our scientific methods of basically learning these things for a fact and take it from theory to fact. And facts are still facts. Not everything is up for debate. Although there are people who have their own ideas about virtually everything, including that people who would rather die than admit the earth is not flat. And I see a number of those people, and I say, they're either punking us, or maybe we're not as smart as we think. But every time they slingshot a spacecraft around some gravitational body, and it gets it exactly where it's supposed to get, like they did with Apollo 13 when they brought it home from the moon. If you don't believe the people that say that was all a fraud and done in a movie theater, in a sound stage, if you believe they really brought the Apollo 13 astronauts back, you believe that Jim Lovell was not the greatest liar that ever lived, you got to believe in the fact that the physics are correct and not just a theory anymore, because they worked. Okay, that's proof. That's called proof. It's much easier to get proof of a spacecraft being slingshot around the moon than it is to get proof about what happens to one molecule and the other molecule inside a human cell, one of 30 or 40 trillion in our body. That's too small for us to see. We can only do things look at the outcomes, and theorize the mechanics that happened in between. And we're getting okay at it, but I don't think we still don't know for sure what a velociraptor actually looked like. We have artist renderings. We found skeletons, but that doesn't tell us what the actual animal looked like. So as I get older, I get more wary of these things and question more. Thank you, Barry, for that. Plant Man. I'm going to have to resurrect Plant Man. I'm going to do it. I need to remake that video because my thinking has come a long way on it since I did it. That was a long time ago. It never really did very well because sometimes I'm a little too clever for my own good when it comes to YouTube videos. If I ever want to get a video go viral, I got to say something that appeals to everybody, like, I'm quitting carnivore. I don't get everybody's attention. How many times have they done that to you? I'm quitting YouTube. I think I may have done that once or twice when I was ready to quit. But that's clickbait. I try not to do that. Dukas says my voice is calming to you. Really? That's great. What was that question from... oh my gosh, I know the carnivore diet heals many things, but has anyone been cured from having road rage? Some drivers are stupid people. That, yes, it could help. It could help. Honestly, it could help. It could have a chilling effect on people who are prone to losing it. Stressed out to the max because of what they're thinking. But yeah, I actually think it's helped me a little bit. I still react to stupidity, but I don't react in a way like I used to. I don't get mean. I don't get angry. A lot of times I just laugh. I say, don't let it bug you, Mitch. They're fools, you know. So yeah, it may do that. It's all individual. Depends on how much you let drivers bother you. Just realize when it comes to road rage, and I was certainly not immune to that it's usually not intentional. It's usually somebody just like you who maybe didn't see you in the blind spot and cut over. And you can react one of two ways. You can say, I've done that, so I understand. Or you can say, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to get on your tail. I'm going to follow you right to your front door. I'm going to burn your house down and kill your children and eat them because you accidentally changed the lane in front of me. And because these people need a reason to hate, need a reason to let the violence they have out, and they're sick people. They're sick people. And the best thing you can do when you run into anybody on the road or make a mistake is just don't make a big deal out of it. If they come up next to you, roll down their window, start yelling at you, which they do, look, roll down your window and say, my mistake, I'm very sorry. And some of them, that won't even stop. Honest to God. These people are crazy. It's scary out there. And you know why these people are crazy? Because they're becoming plant man. And so is their brain. I like that. Plant man. I have to remember that. One more doll. We could always use one more doll. Always. Morning Misfits from California. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. And, wow, I got all the way up to Tristan Super Chat. I'm not surprised that happened to you, though. Sandy Bly loves head cheese. I'm sure probably perfectly wonderful. I can't get by the name, but I'm a strange one. I will not deny it. Ricky Lee is here. Ricky, good morning to you. Oh, we're in the head cheese discussion. Okay, let's get past that. What time is it? 9:01, about a half an hour behind again. It's time for me to try to figure out how to end this gracefully without missing too much. So I'm going to start scrolling fast. I've been reading it up to now. 133 people. That's a good turnout this morning on a Tuesday morning. Great to see you. I don't want to talk about carbon butter now regularly, even though Bill Gates and Satan approves. Hey, Grace Lee chimed in. Hi, Lily. How are you? How are you? Good to see you this morning. Looking for questions. Looking for questions. Plant Man. Barry, I'll have to do that. I don't do shorts. I don't like shorts. For me, they're a waste of time. I don't like the format. I don't like the TikTokishness of them. I don't like blasting things into people's subconscious by flashing text, subliminal crap. I'm too old for that stuff. That's great for the young kids. They're gonna have to be able to handle that transaction load and barrage of things that just don't let them ever stop and really consider anything. Give it some thought. Nobody thinks anymore. People only react to emotional triggers and stimulus. Nobody just says, I'll consider it anymore. Now, whether you were, and I know it's an old thing, but Peter said, it's crazy. A comment that could probably apply to everything. It is. It is crazy. It is crazy. And there's Barry Simon, then Plant Man. I'm Plant Man. Sunburn in a minute. The sad fact, that's true. That's true. There's been so much science about what happens when you replace the animal molecules with plant molecules. We're all living things. And deep down at a cellular level, a plant cell is still a eukaryote cell. It's still got a nucleus. It's still got DNA. It's still got all the different little complexes. It's got mitochondria. It's got all the things that we have, but they're slightly different. Slightly different. That difference will make a human not perform like an animal, but more like a plant when it comes to certain things. And I think that's true when I try to have a conversation with some of these humans. It's like talking to a tree. Barry, just make comedy shorts. I could do that, Barry, but I don't have the time. I don't have all that stuff takes time. But and does anybody even need any more of me being funny? I'll consider it though. Thank you, Barry. I'll consider it. I have no doubt that it would go over, but I think it would only go over big, Barry. If I was an animator or a good cartoonist and could actually create a cartoony Plant Man and animate him and have him doing funny things, that's way beyond my abilities. Especially, I can't even I can hardly write my name with my right hand now, let alone draw cartoons. So, and I know there's an AI can do that stuff and everything, but I don't think I need to add that to what I have to do and keep track of now, to tell you the truth. But thanks anyway. It's a great idea. I wish I could do it. Maybe if somebody thinks that they can create these things, I'll partner with them and somehow run them on both our channels. But I think it'd be a little too much for me to take on right now. Tanya, how you doing this morning, sweetie? Good to see you. It's been, I think that's the first time I saw you this morning, and my phone went off. Let's see. Denise King bought me a coffee. Wow. See, it does pay to ask. Hi, Mitch. Good to be here. Drink my coffee with you this morning. My thank you, Denise. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay. And not getting another junk mail this morning, so that's great. That's great. But Tanya, good to see you. Good to see you. Jim is here. I'm getting sucked in again. I'm reading again. Spanky! Spanky's here. Good morning, Golf Addict. How are you? I'm about to go for a golf. Wait a minute, everybody. Newsflash. Breaking news. Spanky, Golf Addict, is going to play golf today. Wow. Who'd have thought that? Yes, that's why I wear sarcastic t-shirts, Spanky. You all should know by now. Steerall says, Carnivore Phil, man, thank you for reminding me. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let me just look for the QQQs. QQQs. August the 12th. Wow. August the 12th. Already. Where did July go? Where the hell June go? For God's sake. Oh, Terry Sue, I'll put this up here. This just turns my stomach. Just hearing you say it, Mitch. If you want to get crazy, you got to smoke a whole pig head and make the head cheese. Oh God. Oh. Wow. You know, I think it was a George Carlin bit. Was talking about foods. And I think that's where I first made the connection, because I felt the same way. But Carlin did a hell of a routine about that stuff. And if you remember Carlin, what a genius that guy was, but what a brilliant man. He could find absurdity in everything, and he was always right. Even if you disagree with him, he was always right. I admired him because he was a realist. He saw the absurdity everywhere. And I can still hear his voice in my head saying head cheese, and look at the look on his face as he was just showing his disgust. And I identified with that. Am I at the end of the chat? My God, how did that happen? You guys are wearing yourselves out here. The volume of the chat is getting less and less, although we still got 134. But that's great. Now I can hang with you for a few minutes in the current chat. Bitch, June and July are coming up. They will be here before you know it. That, Brian, that is so true. Next June and July. Terry Sue says, I spilled my coffee at your cringe. Happy to entertain everybody. Happy to be silly. You know, the problem with getting old and observing all this maddening crap you do, and angering and absurdities and stupidity, is you lose the ability to just be silly. And I refuse to give that up. I just refuse. I can get serious and I can certainly rant about what's wrong, but I still try to find a little humor in it. It's harder as you get older. It becomes harder and harder, until you turn into this. And that's why I keep Walter on my desk all the time. It's a reminder. I may look like Walter. I may have the hairline that Walter's got. And if any of you have never seen this comparison before, and look at the back of my head and Walter's head, turn them around right, you can see, I mean, it's blatantly obvious. You can see the similarity between me and Walter. Sad but true. In fact, I think Walter's got more hair back there than I do. But I don't want to ever become that get off of my lawn guy. The one guy in the neighborhood people are afraid of. I want to try to be funny. Because if you lose your sense of humor, you are truly, truly done. I'm sorry. You're truly finished. Nobody wants to know you anymore if you can't lighten up once in a while. So that's why I keep Walter around. Reminds me, don't turn into Walter. Terry's still talking about the head cheese. My God, let it go already. Oh, we're still older folks. Peter says, yeah, the older folks get skin cancer. What are they eating? Yeah, of course. And then they have the other subset of people that look like they're wearing hazmat suits to go out in the sun. Not a square inch of their skin is exposed. And what skin is exposed, they got nitric oxide, white stuff smeared all over it. Long sleeve shirts, big, floppy hats out to here. Long pants, their doctor says, stay out of the sun. But I'm not a vampire doctor. I go out during the day. Well, then make sure you come. Carnivores are out there running around half naked. Nice tan, no cancer. I can tell you this. I had skin cancer. I had a melanoma on my nose. I told you that story. Malignant melanoma. Deadly. You hear those words out of your doctor's mouth, you start making your funeral arrangements. Well, I did that. I mean, I said, well, that's it. Fortunately, I was on top of it, and we caught it in time. This was 6, 7, 8 years ago. A neighbor moved it by cutting all the skin off the top of my nose and cutting some skin off my shoulder and doing a graft, and waited the obligatory 5 years for it to reoccur. In that time, I became keto, which was almost carnivore, and then carnivore, and stopped eating plants completely. I noticed that my skin really cleared up beautifully. I noticed that when I went to the dermatologist, which initially I did every 3 months, where he checked my lymph nodes and everything else to make sure that skin cancer hasn't reoccurred, that the precancers that I was getting on my head that he had to burn off with liquid nitrogen stopped happening. And I haven't had one since. And my skin has gotten so much clearer. And my head isn't covered with scars from the liquid nitrogen every time I went in there. And I have no recurrence of the cancer. It's completely gone. They got it in time. That's great. So I tell my dermatologist, have you noticed that my I don't get skin cancer anymore. I don't get precancers. He said, yes, I did. I said, do you know why that is? He said, why do you think it is? I said, because I changed my diet and I stopped eating plants. That's why. And I'm not going to get skin cancer. I'm never going to get skin cancer. He says, well, that's not true. That's got nothing to do with it, he says. In fact, you shouldn't be eating all that meat because you're going to raise your cholesterol and kill yourself. That's the medical community for you. It's bad enough that they won't even take a look and determine the credibility of what I just said, which is evidenced by what he's seeing right before his very eyes. But they won't do it. They won't do it. They're afraid. They can't go against the people who regulate medicine. Can't go against the government. They'll lose their license to be out of a job. And there are very few doctors like Ken Berry who say, I'm doing it anyway. I cannot continue to practice medicine, misleading and killing people. So there's a case where the old saying, my mind is made up, don't confuse me with the facts, actually applies. And every time I talk to a doctor. Now, I'm disgusted until I find one that says, yeah, I'm looking into that carnivore stuff. Sounds like it's got a lot of problems. They go, wow. Aren't you afraid that they'll banish you from doctordom? No. Brian Dish says, yeah, this is true. Mitch, he was mad because you figured out how, basically, I didn't need him anymore. That's their fear. We don't want the patients to know how to fix themselves. What the hell are we going to do? Be like selling somebody a car that never breaks. Car that never breaks. Don't ask your mechanic what he thinks about it. He's going to try to talk you out of it. That's just normal. Of course they don't want it. The drug companies keep pumping so much money into defensive stuff to keep us from actually getting this message by shadowing it, censoring it. And they're doing a good job because the propaganda, the messages you hear. I mean, RFK Jr. came out in front of God and everybody the other day and declared he's a carnivore. You'd think that the news would blow up with that everywhere you turn, you'd see headlines, RFK Jr. is a carnivore, eat meat. Not a whisper. Not a whisper. It took a couple of carnivore YouTubers to get that clip off of some news YouTube thing and spread it around. And even today, nobody's talking about RFK saying he's a carnivore. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know. And my 121 people are not going to do a whole lot to spread the word to the other 8 billion people on this planet. I'm sorry. We're here taking care of ourselves. But at least reveling in the fact that we think we actually have some reason to believe we're right. So at any rate, my friends, it is coming up on 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Stephen Albeck, glad you could join us, my friend. Glad you could join us. You missed it. You slept through it. I'll see you tomorrow, Stephen. Yeah. So listen, everybody, I think we've about had enough for this morning. I'm going to put out that video today about don't take creatine and coffee together, and using my cell phone and my new little wireless microphone to see how well it worked. So, be interesting. And we'll talk about that again tomorrow morning at 8:30. Right now, little happy music so you can leave here in a joyous mood and face today and all the good things that it could bring. keep your sense of humor and be happy. Be positive that we're on the right track. Yeah, we still got problems. Could be worse. Could be worse, that's for damn sure. Quack at you again tomorrow, says Rick. Lots of blessings, says Simpson John. Have a great day, everyone, says Charlie Faircloth. Charlie, how you doing? And Lexi is here. Lexi, hi Lexi, I missed you. Missed you before, but I'm glad to see you. Say hello to you. Says bye, guys. Thomas. Goodbye to you as well. Lori, thank you. Thank you for participating like you did today. All right, this says goodbye. Terry Sue, thanks. Mitch, Papa Carnivore, son, rather, whatever that means. Mike Seeley, have a good day. Mike Seeley Sr. and Jem says bye, Mitch. And Mitch is looking forward to your video. Mitch, stay positive. Always. I gotta be positive. It's so easy to be sucked into the dark side. Gotta keep fighting, but you can't ignore it. You need to defend yourself from all that stuff, and knowledge is defense. That's for sure. Carnivore, Phil, good to see you. Gina Cap says goodbye. Aaron says bye all. Carnivore, Phil says I'm a full year B and E on November 1st. Well, we still got a little ways to go, but you can brag about it now, Phil. That's okay. Congratulations. So listen, everybody. Music ended, and so have I. I will see you all tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, hump day, 8:30, right here from sunny Melbourne, Florida. For the time being, you have my permission to take the rest of the day off as long as you eat meat.